Hi, let's talk today about what to do if you and a vendor or a client have agreed to do some work in trade. This happens fairly often in construction, especially where things can be offset. Hey, I'll go ahead and do some work for you. You do some work for me. It can get a little bit confusing on the accounting side because we do need to keep track of everything for job profitability. We need to make sure that we're actually, accounting for costs correctly and that things are flowing back to the right job. And also from an accounting standpoint, you do need to account for income as income, whether you receive cash or not. So I'm going to show you our preferred method for handling this. I'm going to handle everything in QuickBooks Online, but if you have a third-party app such as Knowify, you can incorporate some of the ideas here because the ideas are going to be the same, and I'll talk about that when we get to it. This is our sort of test account that we like to play around with in QuickBooks. And so the very first step that I'm going to take, I'm sitting here on the chart of accounts page, and we're going to go ahead and create a new account. And I like to just call this account Trade Clearing. And we're going to call this account Trade Clearing, and we're going to make it an account type bank, and we can leave the detail type as cash on hand. Technically, no cash is going to exchange hands, but it's not going to be a checking or a savings account. So we'll just leave it at that. So we're going to go ahead and hit save. Now we have this new account called Trade Clearing. You could give it a number if you need to do that. But this is going to be the account through which everything sort of washes out. We call it a wash account or a suspense account in our nomenclature over here. But it's a clearing account is what many people call it. So now that we have this new trade clearing account established, we're going to run all of the transactions pertaining to these items through it. So let's say that you go out and you do work for the person that you're doing trade for. Well, you want to go ahead and have a project established for that. So again, if you were working in a third-party app such as Knowify, you would create a job in Knowify. Well, we can go ahead and create a job, and I'm just, for the sake of making this clear, I'm going to go ahead and create a trade project. And then we pick the customer that the client, who we're doing this for. So who are we trading with? And everything else you can put in anything that you need to regarding this project. And we can save it. Let's see. What is it wanting me still to enter here? Oh, zip code. All right, well, we'll throw some zip code out there. I don't like this address anyway. Let's come up with something else. Look at that. Thanks, LastPass. I don't need you right now. Quick tip or trick, you can pause LastPass on any size trend. So let's just throw an address out there for this. And now we have a new trade project. Okay, so now we can do work for our client. So I'm going to go ahead and add an invoice for the client. So, and then again, this is keeping our accounting in good order. We're saying that we did, thank you, LastPass. We're saying that we did this work. So let's just go ahead and pick a work that we want to do. So let's do residential service call, $150, and we do this work. Doesn't really matter what we pick here, but I'm just going to go ahead and save this invoice. So now I have an open invoice for $150 service call plus tax. Well, the thing was, yeah, there we go. So it's plus tax, and I have $150 of income because the tax doesn't count as income, right? So now we have an open invoice out for the client. Now they're going to do something for us in trade. And so that means that they should also issue us an invoice. That's going to keep their accounting correct and show that income for them. So they have now sent us an invoice, and that could be for some other job, right? So it could be that in exchange for us coming out and checking out their residential problem that they have here, they're going to give us $150 worth of work in a different area. So let's say that, and again, to keep everything correct, let's say this is actually subcontractor work. So you do need to record if someone's doing like some sort of subcontracting work for you. I mean, if it's a straight trade, we're going to say it's exactly $150. Let's say that there's even the exact amount of tax. I think $163.58. So it's going to be a straight trade. we owe them 163.58 and they owe us 163.58. So we're going to go ahead and enter that. And we'll say that it's for a different project, right? So whatever project that they're doing this work for us, and we'll go ahead and click save. Oh yes, so we're going to say this is the person that's doing it for us. And we'll go ahead and save. And we don't need to put that class in there. We're good to go. Okay, so now then we have an open invoice for an amount, and we have an open bill for that same amount because they're just going to be trade, but we've got all of the accounting appropriately set up. And this is where our trade clearing account comes in. So we just go ahead and we're going to come in here, and we know that this invoice is due to us from them. So let's just go ahead and go to that open invoice and we'll get into it. As QuickBooks does its little thinking for just a second. All right, and as we open up this invoice, when we get in here, again, this is due to us, so we're going to click receive payment as if we're receiving this money. And you could deposit this to undeposited funds. That might be your preference, depending on different workflows. But this is where our trade clearing account comes in. We can deposit it directly into the trade clearing. So we can say we received a payment on this. Again, no cash is exchanging hands, but we're just going to deposit this dollar amount into our trade clearing account. And we save and close. And now then, if we are to go and look in our chart of accounts at that trade clearing account, let's actually go back over here and take a look at the chart of accounts. So now that it shows that in this bank account, we have $163.58. Well, guess what we can do with that? We can go ahead and pay the open bill, right? So we have an open bill. That's from our vendor A guy. So we can search for it by the dollar amount. We're going to go ahead and pay that bill out of that trade clearing account. So again, what this is doing is it's allowing you to keep all of your accounting straight. It's allowing you to make sure that you're appropriately posting things like to subcontractors and all that. But it's also allowing you to not ever have to actually have any money exchange hands. So once again, the most important part is that we're selecting this trade clearing account. There doesn't need to be a reference number, right? Because there's not actually anything going out. There's no check involved. Save and close. And then one last check here. We're going to let the chart of accounts load for us, and it should now show that there's $0 in that trade clearing account. So that's the purpose of this trade clearing account. It's a clearing account. Like I said, some people call it wash account, suspense account. But the purpose is just that things are washing through it when there's no dollars actually trading hands. So we can now see that we received the payment in, made our bill payment, everything's copacetic, all the accounting is in the right place, and we were able to successfully do the trade with our person that we're working with. Hopefully this is helpful.